Okay, well, welcome to this session on Engineers Without Borders. My name is David Watkins. I'm a professor in civil environmental engineering. I'm one of the faculty advisors. So I'm not the leader or the director of the program. It's student driven, student run. But I'll just give you a quick overview and try to allow some time for questions. So the first slide here, which hopefully you're viewing on the screen, talks about the two-pronged mission of EWB. Notice it's Engineers Without Borders USA. It is a national organization. Michigan Tech is one of, I believe, over 200, maybe close to 300 now, student chapters nationwide. And EWB USA partners with developing communities to improve their quality of life through engineering projects that are environmentally sustainable, equitable, and economical. Affordable for communities, and also in providing these opportunities to work with developing communities, EWB USA promotes the development of globally aware and internationally responsible engineers, students, and professionals. So there are also professional chapters of EWB USA, not as many as student chapters, but for instance, there's one in southeastern Michigan, there's a Wisconsin Professional Partners, there's one in the Twin Cities. So those are some, also Chicago. Chicago has a big professional chapter. Those are kind of the regional chapters that we often interact with. So I'm going to try to go quickly here because I have been the EWB advisor for about 15 years and I could talk all night. But this slide just gives an overview of chapter activities, traveling to conferences and workshops, which unfortunately now are online, but they have some great opportunities online now to get some professional experience. Fundraising is a big part of the work, just to get funds for the projects, for travel, and for materials for construction projects. Students are also involved in university service. We normally have a fall conference sort of showcasing service learning activities on campus. I think this might be delayed this year. We might hold off until spring to see if we can have an in-person conference. It's usually in October, but not this year. And also numerous outreach and education events, for instance, working with K through 12 students. And right now there are two active projects, which I'll tell you about briefly, in Bolivia and Guatemala. And even though there's, project travel is obviously a highlight for a lot of students. I'm sure that's why you're here, looking for opportunities to go abroad. The work on these projects, the design work, the assessment, the analysis, and planning and logistics is continuous. So yeah, I think I'll have to skip quickly through here, but there's about usually 30 to 40 active members, including the executive board. You may know some of these people, or you may be some of these people. We do need non-engineering majors too. So in a way, the Engineers Without Borders, is a defining name, but we don't want it really to be limited. As you'll see, we need work and educational activities for the communities. We need people actually with artistic skills to create the operations and maintenance manuals. And people with business and marketing skills can certainly help with fundraising and developing financial plans for these projects. So we really do need and people with history and social science backgrounds, so that we have the right background and understanding when we come into these communities to really partner with them effectively. These are just some of the additional skills that are needed beyond the engineering design work. So another unique thing about, I think, EWB is that students can become highly involved, and certainly we have a number of students that have been working on projects for multiple years during their time at Michigan Tech. Or, if you have some time one semester, you can get involved, maybe helping with fundraising or one part of a design project. So real quick, I'll give an outline of two projects. One is working with communities in Guatemala. If you can see the mouse on the screen, but it's right up near the border with Mexico here in sort of northwest Guatemala. not this would be the highlands of Guatemala up here, but or over here, these are highlands too, but this is kind of in a river valley. These are Mayan people who were displaced during the Civil War. When they returned, they really had nothing. They were building their communities from scratch. And so we've worked with them for a number of years, primarily on their water system. The river is not really, you can see it's actually right along a river here, the Ishkan River, but it's not really a safe source of water, drinking water. So our chapter has helped them to develop groundwater resources. And the next project will be a spring that's up in the mountains, capturing the spring water and piping it down to one of the two communities that we work with there. So this actually shows some of their kind of traditional sources, which I wouldn't even really call sources. They're just sort of holes in the ground. You can see they're kind of broadly, generally protected with these boards, but you see one with a lot of leaves and debris. They're certainly not protected from runoff. There's contamination from even farm animals nearby. So we've done water quality tests on these traditional sources, and the water's really, really bad. They know it is. They know that they're to boil the water, but there's always issues with storing the water and with hygiene when this is all you have to work with. So these are some past projects. This is showing some hand pumped wells. These are hand dug wells with hand pumps. These are about 30 feet deep. Shows the construction process here. These have, two of them are functioning quite well. So one of the communities has managed to keep their two wells functioning. In the other community, one well has never really worked very well because it had to be dug too deep. I think the hand pump actually doesn't have capacity to lift the water that much. And then the other well has kind of worked off and on. It still is not sufficient water during the dry season. So that's why we're still working with these communities to expand the water resources, especially in the dry season. Health education and sustainability. I just wanted to mention this as a key step in all of these projects. This shows one of the educational programs that the students ran several years back now, but shows the importance of health versus not having sanitation causing sickness. So just teaching children about the importance of basically water, sanitation, and hygiene. Okay, the other project here is in Bolivia. It's near Santa Cruz in eastern part of the country. And it's a road improvement project essentially, but what's degrading the road is poor drainage. So students are developing a design right now. This shows just watershed delineation where they're going to replace a culvert to keep the water from running over the road and washing it out during storms. One thing that's been proposed, this also kind of got put on hold with the COVID crisis, but we'd like to do some work locally with the Keweenaw Bay Indian community. They've identified a number of projects. And this is through a program called Community Engineering Corps, of which Engineers Without Borders is a partner along with ASCE and AWWA. So we're going to try to hopefully move this forward in the coming year. The KBIC, the Keweenaw Bay Indian community, also has been kind of stretched thin by the COVID crisis, so they don't have the resources right now to devote to this, but hopefully things will change soon. And I just wanted to mention kind of a pilot program that's running now with the Built World Enterprise. So if EWB students are involved in design work, this would be primarily for engineers doing design work, I would say, to get credit for that towards your capstone design and enterprise experience. This could be done through the Built World Enterprise. And if you're interested in this, you could talk with either Dr. Morse or myself. Okay, we don't have this is just a little bit about the EWB project process, but for more information, you can contact either me, there's my email, or Maddie Berry, she's the chapter president. So I think I left at least a few minutes for questions. I I think I'm going to let us go here until about 6:01, and then we might need to rotate maybe to try to catch up with the schedule. Let's say 6:02. So say 5 minutes for questions. If you have any, just go ahead and unmute yourself. And I said I would stop the recording.